coached and taught literally thousands of swimmers, and these are some of the most common mistakes I see while swimming freestyle. People always say to me, Hannah, I can't breathe, I struggle to breathe, I feel like I've got no breath. And a lot of this isn't actually because of how you breathe, it's the technique around how you're turning your head to breathe, and actually just your technique in general. You may be making it a lot harder. You probably are making it a lot harder than what it needs to be if you're having these issues. So in freestyle, we're breathing to the side. Now, ideally, we want to be comfortable with breathing to both sides. This is called bilateral breathing. Over the years of swimming, it's actually become less common to do this style of breathing due to personal preference and actually needing to breathe more. One thing that I say to swimmers when they're saying they're struggling with their breathing is how they're turning their head and their body to breathe. Now, in freestyle, we're swimming all in one line. We're rotating from side to side. So when you breathe, you should be rolling, rotating onto your side to breathe. But what is very common in newer swimmers, and they're literally turning their whole head to the side to breathe, but because they're not rotated, they can't breathe. So this is where you get the lift and turn to the side. Now, because you're doing this lift and turning your head to the side, your body position becomes like this. Now, we want to be swimming flat in the water with hardly any resistance on the top of the surface. If you're lifting your head up, your legs begin to sink, which makes it incredibly hard to get that breath in. The key point to work on this is to think one ear in the water and one ear out of the water when you're turning your head to the side to breathe. This is to ensure you're not turning too much of your head. We don't want to see your whole head out of the water. Just a little bit is fine. And if you watch some of the best swimmers in the world, they literally turn their mouths like that to breathe. Another key factor to why you may be finding it difficult is your arm glide. You want to keep your ear as close to your arm as possible. We don't want this big gap. Now, this is what I see in a lot of swimmers. They're lifting their head up away from the body to breathe, and I've already discussed how that creates the body position that we don't want. Another thing to be very mindful of is, are you doing long enough strokes? Now, what I mean by this is, are you swimming your freestyle like this? And if so, how do you expect to turn your head to the side, to breathe, take a breath when your arm is already circulating? What we want to be doing is the arm is coming over. Now, we all have heard about the importance of a high elbow, but this is very important that it matches what you're doing and your swim stroke, your ability, and your shoulder mobility. Some of us just don't have the shoulder mobility to get your elbow in this really high position. It's uncomfortable and it's actually not that good for your shoulder. So yes, we want a high elbow, but does it have to be literally like we see some swimmers do at the Olympics? No. And also, a lot of swimmers do not have a high elbow. If you're watching the Olympic swimmers and they're doing sprints, they're going straight arms. I used to call it windmill swimming. But what we really want to learn whilst we're starting this swimming journey is distance per stroke, and this is going to help us with our breathing. As your arm enters the water, there should be room in front of you to extend and hold that glide. Now, what a lot of swimmers do is they scoop the water around. You are missing all of this water over here, all this opportunity to move forwards if you are scooping the water here. So I want you to think, this is what I always say to my swimmers, I want you to think shark fin. We're making a pointy elbow at the top. Again, it doesn't have to be right up here. We're making a shark fin. Our fingertips are entering the water. We're gliding forwards, and we should be feeling all of our muscles in our back and our lats engaged and working here. That way, can you see the difference of the stroke from we're going here as opposed to this? I'm gonna be thinking shark fin elbow, fingertips in the water first, extending, engaging your back, engaging your lats, and then round. Now we have so much more time to turn our heads to the side to breathe because we have this arm out stabilizing us, breathing before we then go round. Now, if you're struggling with this distance per stroke or struggling to hold that glide out, one of my favorite drills for this is catch up. Now, sometimes the concept of this can become a little bit confusing. So if you have some sort of item, a spare pair of goggles, this is literally the perfect drill to try. A spare pair of Speedo goggles. To save money on Speedo, you can use code HANNAHSWIMS15. Hold the goggles out straight. Now, the hand holding the goggles, the arm holding the goggles should always be out straight. This is very important to remember. And we're gonna do like a relay with our arms here. So we're gonna go out long. The arm is gonna shark fin, fingertips in first, extend, swap hands, take the goggles, and we're gonna go round again. Now this drill is called catch up. You don't have to use the goggles, but sometimes it's a good mental cue if you are struggling. Now what can become quite difficult here is trying to figure and navigate when to breathe. So another drill to try is a single arm drill. Now based on your swim ability is based on kind of which single arm drill you want to try. If you are a beginner, I recommend using a float out, straight arm in front of you, and again we're wanting to extend as that arm goes round. If you are feeling more confident, then we can drop the float, we can go one arm out in front for the stability and with single arm. However, what this drill isn't doing is encouraging that side to side rotation that you get when swimming front crawl. If you've got fins, pop your fins on for this drill because it will make it so much easier. We're gonna have one arm our sides, the other arm is just gonna do our single arm freestyle drill. This is gonna encourage the rotation in the water and also that distance per stroke of the really nice long arm that we are looking for. If you are training for something like a triathlon, if you're doing Ironman, open water swimming, long distance swimming, we want to have distance per stroke. It's super, super important, especially in triathletes. We don't want to be relying on kick. We want that distance per stroke. We need the glide. We want swimming to feel easy and effective. So doing these drills are super important. The next thing to be aware of is your kick. Now, the most common mistake I see in swimmers is they're wanting to swim faster and they're kicking like this. They're thinking bigger kicks means faster kicks, and the majority of the time, that is not correct. We want to have a slight bend in our legs when we're kicking, and we don't want to be kicking with our knees. The kick should be coming from our hips, kicking with your knees. You are literally only using the bottom part of your leg, which seems pretty silly when you've got your whole leg to use. Now your kick should be looking like this. We want floppy ankles. Imagine that you're trying to kick your socks off. A very common mistake that I see in swimmers is they're kicking with flexed feet. Now this is so difficult. You really want to work on those floppy ankles. One drill that I do like to do, and it's a little bit more advanced, is to go in the deep end of a pool and literally practice vertical kicking. Encourages the floppy ankles are kicking vertically, so it is a little bit more challenging. When you're swimming, just be aware. Think, are my feet floppy? Are my legs nice and long? We want a little bend in our knees. Your feet should not be flying out of the water. There is no point in your leg coming out of the water. We need your feet in the water, just breaking the surface. Why is your leg out of the water? You don't know, I don't know. Drop your legs in, straighten your legs out, and we want to see this nice and relaxed leg movement. When it comes to your body position, we want to be on top of the water. We've spoken about what the effects of lifting your head up when you breathe, but it's also relevant to where you're looking whilst where you're swimming. This is your body here, this is your head. If you are looking down when you're swimming, first of all, you've got this block here. You're not streamlined, you're making it very difficult to move in the water. We want to be looking just in front of where you're going, not to the point where you're looking up. It's going to cause tension, you're going to get neck pain, tight traps. It's not ideal, it's not what we want to see. Looking just in front of where you're going. We do come to breathe, it is a case of just rotating our body to take that breath. We're already here. If your head's in the wrong position, you're going to breathe, you're in the wrong place, you're probably then swerving, it all gets a little bit complicated. That is looking just in front of where we want to go. Now, probably the most important part of freestyle / front crawl is actually what is happening underneath the water. Now, you may have heard the word catch being thrown around a lot on swimming help, swimming advice, bits and pieces like that. But the catch is basically what happens underneath the water, and that is what is responsible for moving you from A to B. What a lot of swimmers do wrong, first of all, I see a lot of hands like this. Now, that is not gonna help us get through the water faster. We wanna have our hands relaxed. We're not swimming like this, that's not a relaxed position. Our hands relaxed, and as we're pulling through, our fingertips should be pointing down to the bottom. A lot of swimmers relax this arm through the water, but how is this going to propel us through the water? We need to have a flat, strong hand to help us go from here, bending that elbow, pushing all the way back. It's flat, hand is relaxed, we're bending that elbow, we're pushing all the way back to your hip to extend, and then we're going round again. A really good way to get a feel for this is using paddles. If you don't own any hand paddles, Shokz. Hand paddles are really good, especially the ones where you just put your thumb in. But if you're going into the water flat, your hand paddle is going to go wobbly. It won't allow you to move through the water in that way. And wearing hand paddles really helps you get a feel for that flat hand motion through the water that we need when we're swimming. Catch is something you're struggling with. Would recommend trying it with paddles. Please don't become too reliant on this because it is completely different swimming without paddles. Another one of my favorite drills to do, and these are very slow but very important drills. The first one, arms in front of you and sculling. This sculling movement is what you would do in every single swim stroke. Sculling is boring, it is slow, but it is also very important. This movement here is the sculling. Favorite drill is underwater front crawl. We're not doing anything. I don't want to see any recovery over the top of the water. Everything is happening under the water. Practicing on our catch, we're practicing our straight arm, we're pushing all the way back, and we're literally rotating. Most important part of front crawl, but the most overlooked part because it's slow, because it's boring, and because it doesn't seem necessary. So many amazing drills that you guys can do to help transform your swimming. I have taken all the basics that you need for this and I've put it into a 4-week plan. So you can literally transform your swimming in 28 days if you follow this plan. Swim sets are already written out, so there's no need to think about that. The drills are included and you also have clear video demonstrations as well. So if there's anything you're unsure of, you can always refer to the video. The most important things that I find is most helpful to me as a coach when I coach swimmers and from a swimmer's point of view is being able to see what you're doing. If you are swimming with someone, please get them to take a video of you. Like once you see what you're doing, it's so obvious to fix that. However, you may not know what you need to fix and you may end up focusing on the wrong thing. I am running a video analysis, the link in the description below. Analyze your swim stroke and not only give you feedback on this, but then create a plan specialized for you, help you get from A to B without all of the guesswork. Swimming is difficult and getting the technique right is really, really difficult, especially as an adult and not knowing where to start. But the most important thing is you stay consistent, you slow it down. Cannot stress how important it is. Slow down your stroke, slow down what you're doing. Focus on the basics. Don't try and run before you can walk because I promise you it will catch you up further down the line. If you do want that extra help or support and you want my 4-week plan, all the links are below in the description. If there's anything you would like me to cover next, please comment down below and I will see you very soon in another video.